Hey everyone, this is Scott from Classic Elite, and I'm actually going to prove something that I've talked about on our podcast a couple of times, and it's that I can beat Konami's amazing game Contra without the cheat code that is infamous for being in early Konami games. So I don't think I'm going to talk through the whole gameplay. I think that would get kind of repetitive and boring, and I doubt very many people will watch all of this anyways. So I guess the first thing I want to mention is that we have a listener of the show. His name is Balzac, and in one of his comments he wrote that he was impressed that I could do this, so I wanted to get some audio together and video footage of me actually doing it, and decided to go ahead and throw it up on archive.org, so if anybody actually does want to see that I can do it, they'll see some verification there. Now, this is not like a perfect run or anything. I do use all of my continues, so, throughout the video, I'm not going to really comment on every little thing, just some little things here and there that I love and that I don't love so much about the game. I will be making a short review of Contra, well, maybe not even so much of a review as it is a few highlights of why I love this game, and why I still love it today. So, here I am, just taking care of the first boss. It's pretty simple, but big thank you to Balzac. Not sure if you'll actually watch this video all the way through, but if you do, I certainly appreciate it. And anyone who actually is checking this out, thank you very much for watching. From here on out, I think I'll be kind of quiet, but the key to these levels is really just holding shoot and down at the appropriate times. So we'll just kind of take it from here and watch me play through the level. I used to love these levels as a kid, but now as an adult, they're pretty darn repetitive. The perspective was cool and all, to feel like you're walking in 3D, but anymore, I mean, you really rarely, if ever, have to move left or right at all, and I don't know, it's just not that complicated a gameplay. You can see a lot's going on, so this could feel like a very, very challenging level if you don't know the patterns. So, if you're a first-time player, the Konami Code is going to be amazing for you here. With boss fights, I think my trick is I always seem to pick one particular side to take down first. In this level, I'm taking down the right, obviously, and you'll see most boss battles that I have the opportunity. I'll pick a side to attack first, and then from there I will clear out the rest of the boss fight. I'm wondering if anyone will actually write into the show to give any memories, or if they see me do anything that's really stupid that would make it easier for me to get through the game. That would be sweet, because I've never had anybody really give me any tips on this game. I've just played it so darn much. For me in this level, the easiest way for me to get through it, I guess, is to go really, really slow so that you can try to trigger enemies before you get overwhelmed with them and get too many on the screen. And kill absolutely everything. Even if you're invincible like I am right now, you'll see I'm still taking this gun out. I'm just paranoid. This game can screw you over with randomly appearing objects, so anytime you have an opportunity to take one off the screen, I would definitely do it. It gives you your best chance of actually getting through the game without using the code. Now, if anybody cares, that right there that I just passed up is actually a spread gun. So if you find yourself at this point in the game and you don't have a spread, I just passed one up. Usually I think it's bad karma to pass up a spread gun if you have spread, but that's just superstitious. And I don't die here, so it must not actually be that true. I think that I should mention that I used an easy cap capture device, USB device, to capture the video here. My original plan was to actually set up a tripod just to show that I actually did play this with my NES, but I figured no one would actually care that much, so I figured just using a capture device would work just as fine. And truthfully, I have played this on an emulator before, and I can't beat the game unless it's on an original NES, so yeah, unfortunately I have to take my word for it, but I promise you that this is done the real way and the right way. See, like right here is a perfect example. All you have to do is hold down and fire. It doesn't matter really what gun you have. It's pretty easy. The big thing that's really challenging is throughout the game you're constantly hitting up, and in this level and in the second level you're really punished for hitting up. So it does go against your nature, and that adds a little difficulty, but once you're used to it, I mean, it's not really that bad. Obviously here I couldn't quite pick a right or a left side, but you have to be really careful not to knock out all of the red dots before you get rid of the gun in the middle, or else you'll have a lot more to deal with. Now this level is actually really hard with this boss. It's really hard if you don't have the spread gun. Those bubbles are pretty annoying, but if you are stuck without the spread gun against this enemy, usually if you stay in one spot, the bubble will come straight down at you, and you can jump straight up and it will go underneath you. It feels like it'll hit you, but it actually won't. So I guess maybe keep that in mind if you do get a cheap death right before it, or if you die during the boss fight, that it's not as hard. Those bubbles aren't really that bad. This to me is the hardest and the cheapest level in the game. I don't like it. The guy that you just saw me kill, and right there that I just had to dodge a bullet from, those guys, I feel like they unfairly pop up and kill you, and they have such a fast bullet that it leaves you almost no reaction time, and they have so much other stuff going on in the screen that it makes it really difficult. And then if any enemies fire a bullet at you, it's nearly invisible. So yeah, this one for me just gives me all kinds of fits. But I always tell myself that if I have not died before I got to level 5, that I'm going to be able to finish the game with continues. See right there, I just got so lucky to fall through those enemy bullets. But it was one of those that sometimes you just have to just go for it. Now that part without the spread gun, I almost always die, because I never seem to be able to time up that jump the right way, where I can get all the way over it and kill that lone enemy sitting there. Now even with just the pellet gun right there, against that particular vehicle, if you go all the way to the left and just tap right one time, you will you will very easily dodge every single bullet and just fire away like crazy, and you'll be fine. I've heard people complain that that part's almost impossible. They don't think that there's a way to fire and dodge the bullets, and if you stay far enough left, the bullets won't hit you, even though they look like they will. Now, I'm acting kind of silly here and not willing to be walking forward because of that guy right there. I know that he's somewhere in the metal-looking walkway, so, you know, I just have to walk really, really slowly and try to go almost pixel by pixel until he appears. Right there, that made me mad. I shouldn't have died, but oh well, right? I'm just mad because I was so close to actually getting through level 5 without dying, and I don't know if I've ever been able to do that before. Now, right before you get to this boss, you'll have noticed that or you might have noticed that I actually passed an item, and it's a laser. Don't bother with the laser. You'll actually die. It's hard to not die with the laser against that boss because it's such a bad weapon. Now, just pardon my play in this one. I stink it up. I just make poor decision after poor decision. I go the wrong way all the time. Get myself in pickles. Just overall terrible, so I apologize. I think I might stay out of the conversation on this one. It's pretty bad. Like right here, I should know better than to not do this, but whatever. I know that I have to make the jump from down below, but oh well. Got a free guy, so that's cool. Right here is a classic example of old school 8-bit NES controls just screwing you over. Right there, I definitely felt that I had not pressed down, that I went far enough over, but yet that flame got me. Now here's where I don't even know what I was thinking. I probably could have beaten this game without having music continue had I not had 8 like brain farts that I'm about to right here. Now, why would I go up here? I know I can't go anywhere. This part, I don't know why, it used to give me fits. I never would think about going underneath the flame. I just... me being a kid, I suppose. Now I'm gonna die here in a second, and it's one of those times when I'm looking at it, it looks like I didn't try to jump. Yeah, right there. But I swear I did that. I think that my NES controller is just... I think it's getting old because the controls in Contra typically are very responsive. I know that sometimes you actually make a downward shooting motion when you want to duck, and that can get pretty frustrating. But you know, for the most part, the controls are really spot on, and I just think that the control issues I have with this game right now are coming from my NES just being so old. Right there, just dumb. I know better than that. Now here's a case of me getting greedy. Right there, that floating item box is the spread weapon. And here, even on my next playthrough, I'm going to miss it, but I'm going to end up being stuck down there anyways, and you'll see here in a second. Actually get kind of screwed over. This game, it's all, like in all NES games, they can kind of glitch out on you a little bit and not follow the patterns that they typically do, and you can get kind of screwed over, but makes it more fun. Makes you have to be more precise, because if you screw up, you'll pay for it. And sometimes the game's just being cheap, but oh well, whatever. Right there, like, that was a frustrating death. I should have saw that he got a shot off, but I didn't. I think this section is a really good section for a part that comes up later that seems to give some people problems. But if you trust yourself, and the fact that the wall will break by the time you actually get there, you'll be just fine. Now, what I should be doing is standing on that cart so that I can ensure that I get the spread that just passed by, but I don't. So instead I have to come down here, which this is very, very touchy. All of these seem to have a slightly different pattern. The first three have a very similar pattern. This fourth one goes quickly. The fifth one, actually, what it's normally supposed to do is go down, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, something like that. Then there's a pause, and you go right at that pause. Well, the game glitched out because there was an enemy there, and I was kind of screwed, and there was nothing I could really do. So I have 1 life left. Will I be able to make it to the end and not die? Now, here's the part I was alluding to earlier, that you have to just trust yourself. Just keep mashing that button, and that wall will break. It feels a little bit like tapping on your head and rubbing your belly a little bit, though. See, those guys are so frustrating. They just come out of nowhere. And there's too many of them from level 5 on. Ooh, free guy. You gotta like those. Okay, so here I am at World 8. I still have not used, or I've used 1 continue, but I have 2 guys remaining. I come very, very close here to not completing the game. I'll be honest, I will not make it through this first part here. Initially, I don't know why this takes so many hits. I guess usually when I beat this level, I have the spread gun already from level 7. So this guy doesn't take very much time at all. And if you don't have spread, this little boss or mini boss or whatever this enemy is just takes forever. And it's simple, but those little shrimp can take random patterns, so you can get yourself stuck pretty easily. Alright, now here's a mistake that people should learn from. Don't try to outrun this game. It's a bad idea. Maybe I shouldn't say don't try to outrun this game. Be patient in this level, and don't try to outdo anything. Make sure that you kill everything. And take your time. It's easy to feel rushed in this game because there's so many enemies coming at you. But really, when you think about it, it's a game that there's no clock, so you can use patience. But I don't know, they seem to put a lot at you, so it's hard to have patience in the game. Ugh. Like, how many bullets does this guy take? I mean, even with continues, this game is really hard, so Here at this point, I remember to myself, don't be an idiot, kill everything that you see. It takes more time, but it's a short game, so what are you in a rush for? Now here, just keep shooting straight ahead. That spread will show up for you. If you don't have the spread in this game, it makes the ending boss really, really impossible to beat without the Konami Code. If you can't afford a lot of deaths, then having a spread gun is crucial. Ugh. See right here, and now you just have to go kamikaze. Like I'm toast. You miss that little white thing and you're done. So here's the ending boss, and the boss is pretty simple, but it sends a lot your way, and you just have to hit that heart just repeatedly enough until it dies. That little pause sound was me being impatient, just trying to get to the screen. Now, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure how many continues I had left, so I was really nervous I had made it that far and was not going to complete the game, but I have a flawless run here. This one, I do everything the right way and don't have any issues, so I was pretty happy, but I wasn't sure I was going to be able to. What is nice about Contra is that you do get a good opportunity to memorize the level. They're not too complicated, and you can also very easily notice cues and the way that the game actually releases enemies, and if you take advantage of that, you can put yourself in a position where slow and steady will win the race, and it makes it fun, and taking your time allows you to do something that many people can't do, and that's say that they beat Contra without the Konami Code. I think a lot of people just maybe got a little complacent, and so maybe they feel that they just wouldn't be able to beat it, even though they probably actually could. And it's just more fun to use the Konami Code just because you can get through the game. I mean, this is a sweet game. This is one of my all-time favorites. So who wouldn't want to play through it and have to worry about, you know, continuing and whatnot? Boy, man, back in the day, the spread gun was just the best. I mean, it just crushed everything. Even to this day, it's still revered as one of the best weapons in a particular video game. I mean, look at that. It's unstoppable. Oh, gotta keep going. This game makes you really paranoid about things unfairly popping up on the edge of the screen. Now, I did go against my rule there a little bit, but figured a couple wouldn't hurt. But this guy you definitely have to take care of. Because with the spread gun, these little creepy crawly things aren't going to be able to get to you. And there it is. I have beaten Contra without the Konami Code. Now, I understand that this is a pretty unsatisfactory ending visually, but for NES games, it really wasn't about the ending. This really was just about conquering a really, really hard game for me, so the gratification and satisfaction I got was pretty cool. And I figured that I might as well record the credits and air them, just because, you know, these are the people that made one of the best games of all time, in my opinion, and one that I've really, really enjoyed playing. So, a special thank you to Balzac for listening to all of our episodes of the ClassicElite.com podcast, and for leaving a comment and writing in for literally every single episode. This is my special thanks to you, Balzac. We really appreciate you listening to the show, and one of your comments mentioned that you were impressed I could do this, so I figured I might as well show a few people and get a recorded piece of evidence that I can actually do it. So, Thanks everybody for checking out that I can do this, and that hopefully you'll watch the review I'm going to make with this footage. And Konami, thank you very much for making a sweet game such a long time ago. Very cool.